when a house is sold in the ACT, it must be rated for its energy efficiency. Until this year, there's been little oversight of the energy assessors and minimal training requirements, leaving some wondering whether the reports are worth the paper they're written on. Even some in the trade acknowledge the public's lost faith in the scheme. But the ACT government is now moving to address some of the issues. Kate Evans reports.
When Gary DIXON put his house on the market, he had it rated for energy efficiency and inspected for pests and building compliance as required by ACT law.
The contractor, when he came to my house, deemed that my house had no external wall insulation, and that lot cost me 26 points on the energy rating. It's a pink bat. He basically was here for 25 minutes maximum, and in that 25 minutes, as I said, there's overlooked that there was double-line curtains and pelmets, and reported that there was no insulation in the roof. So I've got issues with the reasons why two major things to energy rate a house have been overlooked.
The inspector gave the house a very low rating, something Mr DIXON, a former rater himself, vigorously disputes.
My house came to a 1.5 star energy rating, and it should have been more likely a 3 or 4. It was astounding, to say the least. I used to take an hour to an hour and a half, and I was only just doing the energy rating component. Within 25 minutes I was charged $800 for something that is, I consider paying money for jam, and that's what I see it as.
Mr DIXON complained to his real estate agent about the report.
And he told me that he would fix the problem at one point, when he told me that he'd rung up the contractor and told him to change the figures to as what I said they should be. My comment was to not do that because it's breaking the law, as I was told by ACLA. This would be breaking the law, and I simply wanted all my money back. I haven't got the money to afford for another energy rater to come, and so I'm in this really quite a conundrum of a situation.
The Master Builders Association also has concerns about the system.
There's clear evidence that reports are actually being produced that essentially do not give a true and accurate description of the actual project that they're actually making the assessment of. Now, whether this be for essentially satisfying the requirements of the vendor, or whether it be through lack of skills and competence of the person undertaking the report, I think there's a mix of both there. They are required to undertake some training in the use of the software, but they're required to undertake no training in understanding building fabric, building materials, how you would properly make an assessment of the structural capacity of a building. Perception that they're getting this report that's essentially a government-initiated report, and they're placing so much faith in this report, and it can be so misleading.
Because these reports aren't frank and fearless?
Well, they're not. I don't believe they are. Some of the assessors will probably say that they are, but again, you would have to probably form the view that they are vendor-generated reports, and the person initiating the report is the person actually with an interest in selling the property. So it probably wouldn't be that difficult to put two and two together to say they're probably not frank and fearless reports. I think they can pay up to anything from $600 to $800 for the report. And I guess the other issue with some of these reports are they're so full of disclaimers that it essentially just about makes them worthless.
The government says the system is being overhauled. After Green's pressure, $1.5 million was set aside in last month's budget for a 4-year auditing program due to start next month.
That will involve 2 full-time auditors to continue to take a snapshot of how energy efficiency ratings are performing, making sure that assessors are meeting the requirements in terms of their qualifications and are producing quality, effective energy efficiency rating documents.
And in March, stricter training requirements for raters were introduced.
What it does is it makes an energy efficiency rater a licensed occupation in the construction industry. So they have to be licensed in the same way that a builder or a plumber or an electrician has to be licensed. They have to meet certain mandatory qualification requirements, and they have to be subject to occupational discipline if there are complaints about their work.
In a bit of limbo at the moment as our code of practice and procedures are established.
Because they're not in place at the moment?
No, not as far as I am aware, and I am a licensed assessor, and things are still a bit vague.
Jenny Edwards is one of the first energy raters to be licensed under the new system. She focuses on new homes at the design stage and says the changes can't come soon enough.
I think a lot of people have lost faith in the system at point of sale for existing homes. Again, there have been clear examples where ratings are inaccurate. So assessors will now be liable to, we can be penalised, we can be fined, reprimanded, our work will be audited, which is great. It's great for our clients, and it's great for the industry as a whole that people can have faith in the quality of assessments. So, I think it's very good.
All new homes built in the ACT must now be designed to a minimum of 6 stars. But what does that mean?
The first thing that makes this home 6-star is the orientation to the north, which allows us to trap the sun for the winter, and it also reduces the effect of the summer sun. The benefit in the winter is that, along with the correct design to capture that north, we're also capturing the sun on the thermal mass with the concrete slab floor. Then we're retaining that heat in the house by use of double glazed windows, and also we have window frames that are cedar, which gives a thermal break. In turn, that stops the house from losing heat. If you can imagine living in an esky, it keeps things hot and keeps things cool. There's a product out that is similar to that. There's a polystyrene external treatment which is rendered. There's a silver foil behind that, and then there's bats in the wall. And that, as a combination, gives you a very, very high energy efficient wall.
Currently, new houses like this one are rated using the latest software. But once they're sold, ACT law says that out-of-date software must be used.
The remaining problem is this discrepancy between first generation and second generation software. That I am trained in the use of second generation software, which is a much more powerful tool, can tell you a lot more about the performance of a home, and requires much more detailed input to get that better result. I can't do assessments on existing homes at point of sale.
The result in the meantime is that the energy ratings for old houses are done differently from the ratings for new houses.
The ACT government says a decision won't be made until a national accreditation process for the newer software is agreed on, something which won't happen for a few more months. Overall, though, the Greens are pleased with the changes the government is making.
I think it'll take a little while the system starts working, but yes, I'm confident in sort of 6 months, 12 months, the system will significantly improve. It needs to improve.
But until that happens, the master builders advise home buyers to be sceptical.
I do feel for them, and I do feel that they shouldn't be paying double to get another independent report. However, I do encourage all potential purchasers to get an independent report from a truly competent independent assessor.
We've got a lot of work, I think, to win back the confidence of the public in relation to energy rating.
The scheme is I think, money for jam in a nutshell. Raught's quite a hard word to say because I don't think that implies cynicism and sinister acts. I don't think the government's involved into that. But it's certainly money for jam